Kobe and I are back here at Tower House. We've been gone for about a week. My son was off of school, so we used that time to go visit Rome. We also went to Assisi, and then we spent the weekend in Milan. But we are back here, ready to get back to work. Right, Kobe? You ready to get back to work? I know you are. Okay, so let's get started. Today, we will not be doing stonework as I promised in my last video. We've had a lot of videos on stonework, and quite frankly, I'm eager to do something different. And so today what we're going to do is work a little bit on the roof. Now, I'm not talking about the roof of the house because the roof of the house has already been done. What I'm talking about is another area up top, and I'm going to turn around so that you can see exactly what I'm looking at here and get an idea of what we're trying to do. The area I'm talking about working on is this area right here above here. This is a galvanized steel. It doesn't really look good. And in fact, some of the people here have actually complained to me about the look of this. Now, this was put here when the tower was rebuilt following an earthquake. And basically what it does is stop the water from infiltrating the areas below the tower, and which would cause erosion. So, but it doesn't look so great, and it really doesn't blend in with the other roofs here. So what I'm going to do today is test fit some of these, what they call coppi. That's plural, actually. A coppo is a single roof tile. And what I'm going to do is test fit a few of these up here and see if we can get these covered. Now, I have a lot of these are left over from when the roof was rebuilt. So I think I can use these to cover this, and it'll blend in better with the other roofs around the Castello. So we'll give it a try and see how it comes out. So I have about 18 up here. We need a lot more, so let's go on down, Cope. This is my storage of coffee. As you can see, I have quite a few here. Maybe it doesn't look like a lot. There's about 80 here. They're stacked very nicely. So I'm going to start moving these upstairs. That one's broken. Whew, okay, so I brought up about 70 tiles. I think that's going to be more than enough, but I wanted to bring up a few extra in the event that some didn't have the right shape and I just couldn't get them to fit properly. So, you know, these things weigh, I don't know, maybe a pound each, maybe a couple pounds. I'm not quite sure. I've never weighed one, but when you have a stack of them together, it gets a little hefty. And going up and down the stairs it took a bit of time, but I've got everything up here, taking a little breather. Yeah, those things were heavy. You didn't help much either. We'll take a quick rest, and then we'll get started again, okay? All right. So I have all the tiles up here on the torre that I believe I'm going to need. Probably a little bit more, but that's fine. I want to show you traditionally how the tiles are laid on top of the roof. So in this demonstration, I'm going to start with 6 tiles. Now the edge of the roof would be here, and this would be the drop off. And then the roof would slope upwards this way. And to just kind of simulate the sloping of the roof, I added another tile here to raise these up. That way you have that slope. Now, you would lay these down as the first layer that go upside down, kind of cupped like this. Now the surface below it would either be wood or it could be terracotta tiles. Now you would continue to stack these and layer them as you go up to the peak point of the roof. After that, they would come back and then lay another tile. Oops, let's get this straight. The other tile would be laid across the top in this manner. Like this. I have two more here. We'll stack those like that. And like that. Now, these would actually be a little bit higher like this as we would continue to stack tiles. And this is basically the layout. And in this way, the rain would fall here and it wouldn't get down to the wood or the terracotta that's sitting below it. It would be captured here and then run off. So rains here, captures here, and then it would run off to the edge of the roof. So this is traditionally how it's laid. Here's how the tiles look on a roof that has not been restored. They are placed directly on the terracotta tiles that make up the ceiling of the upper level rooms. In contrast, here's a view of my finished roof. You can see there's an insulating layer between the roof tiles and the ceiling tiles. Well, it looks like we have a change of plans for today. I really wanted to install the Kopi in the area above the tower, but the weather is not cooperating. In fact, when I left home this morning to come here, it's about a 40-kilometer drive. On the way here, it was nice and sunny, and then as we approached, it started to rain, and now it's coming down a lot heavier, so not going to be able to work outside. I believe tomorrow it's supposed to be nice, so we're going to have to change our plan and do some interior work today. I have an idea of what I want to do, so we'll take a look here and maybe make some plaster repairs. Okay, so I decided to fill this corner crevice as well as fill two exploratory holes that I made in the past. So I have my ladder set up here, and what I'm going to do is start up at the top. I've already wet the surface, and the reason why I start up at the top, because for sure I'm going to drop some of this plaster as I'm applying it, and I don't want it to fall on an area that I've already finished. Though I wet this previously, and I know it wasn't enough, especially because this plaster will absorb water. So I want to put a little bit more, get it nice and wet. I once heard a brick mason say that water is the glue of the brick mason. And sure enough, water is needed to get all of these things to stick. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't capture what I'm doing here. I'm using two trowels, one to hold the plaster and a narrow trowel to fill the crevice. After filling the crevice, I went on to fill the two holes as well. So from this angle, when you look at the plaster on the wall, it looks terrible, right? And I show you the element below it, which is right here. Now, there's a clear border where the existing plaster was and where the new plaster was applied. And that's what we're going to get rid of with the sponge and kind of blend it all in, and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So I have my sponge. I soaked it in water. I squeeze it just a little bit. I don't want it dripping with water. And what I'm going to do is just kind of go around the edges here of where I applied this plaster and start to knock off that border where it's quite obvious where the new and the old is, and just kind of blend it in. Just doing a little circular pattern here. Sometimes you have to add more water to the sponge, especially if you have a heavy trowel mark that you're trying to get rid of. And here it's a little wet still. So it blends in the edges and then gives that rustic texture to the mortar. So here's what it looks like after the sponging is complete. Now through the lens of the camera, it's obvious where the ridge was. But when you come down against the wall, where that ridge border was is not so obvious. It's actually been blended in with the rest of the wall. When this dries, it'll all be that light gray color and it won't be so obvious that there was a repair done. You will be able to see some discoloration, but my intention is to lime wash this wall. And when I do that, you won't be able to tell that there was any repair done here at all. I'm happy with how the corner here came out, as well as the repairs I made behind me. And while I was doing this, the rain let up, so I think I have an opportunity to go out onto the tower and see about laying those tiles. So I'm gonna give it a try. Come on, Cope. Let's take a look at these tiles out here. Oh yeah, we have a bit of sunlight over there. So, we'll see if we can get some of these tiles up here. I've positioned a few up here, but what I'm going to do is see how many I can get up here and see how it's gonna look. So I pretty much laid all the tile in that area above the tower. I didn't get to maybe the last 2 or 3, also because they need to be shortened a bit, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here in a minute. I would do that, but one of the last tiles I just laid, I was coming back down the ladder, and I kind of slipped and fell and twisted my ankle a bit. So nothing serious, but it's a little sore, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop for now, and then I'll come back another day to shorten some tiles and fit in this little area. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Going out here, Pop. All right. It's a bit windy out here now, even though it cleared up. So looking back at it, now obviously from this angle you can't really see what's up on top, but from the bridge, there's a little bridge there that leads from the newer part of the city, or the newer part of the town, into the Castello. And when you're on that little bridge there, you can clearly see onto the roof of this area here. So let's go up there and I can show you what it looks like now. Climb up here. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. Now it does look complete, but the last 3 that you probably can't see with the camera, I didn't lay. And actually, I don't know that it really makes a difference. I think if you're in a helicopter, you can surely see that maybe those last three are missing up at the back, but I think it came out well. Maybe that last tile at the end over there, I'll need to swap out for one that's a little thinner, but in general, I laid them in the fashion that they are traditionally laid. Now, I didn't put any adhesive or mortar underneath these. They're just laying here on top, and they have a bit of weight. In the future, what I can do is use an adhesive foam, which is a more modern way of laying these, instead of using a mortar. And they would just spray the foam up underneath each tile and then push it down, and it will stay in place. So this is what it looks like. So this is the view from the entrance to the Castello, and you can see clearly the tiles on top of that area that I wanted to cover. Before, you would be able to see the steel there and kind of that rusted look. So I think this looks a lot better. So I'm really happy with the end result. If you made it this far into the video, I want to thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so and hit that like button. Your support is appreciated and really makes a difference. Ciao.